sugar. Oh, honey, honey.
I'm Benedict, I'm the Practical Beekeeper. I'm here at Ceres at the community kitchen and really pleased to be extracting some honey after a couple of tough seasons. We've actually got a bit of honey. This is Brunswick honey, so not very far away, just down the road. We've got a little bit we're going to extract and I'll talk you through it. I've got two frames that I'm going to run through my extractor. I've got an electric heated knife, so the heated knife's really good. It helps take the lid or the seal off the honey. You can see I've got a bucket to catch all of the cappings because we don't want to waste any of that. It's got honey and wax in it. So you can see with the heated knife, it just slowly uncaps beautifully. And you can see there's quite a lot of honey in those cappings, so we're catching those in a bucket. You notice I'm working down the frame. So down the frame so that if I slip, it's not going to accidentally cut me. It's quite a sticky job. As you can imagine, there's quite a lot of mess making honey. But this is a lovely frame. It's uncupping well. It's quite dark, so it's an older frame. We've done one side, we can then just turn it around and work the other side. Sometimes you'll see, I think on this side you'll see the wax seal, the cappings isn't proud enough, and so the knife doesn't quite cut it. You can see here it's not fully uncapping. So there's a couple of tricks we can do. People talk about using an uncapping scratcher. So I've got one of those as well. A capping scratcher, quite a good tool. And it can simply be used to scratch through those bits that were too shallow for the knife to reach and open them up so when put it in the extractor the honey will still flow. The thing about damaging the frame like this, I know it's a little bit, it seems like you're making a really big mess of the frame, but the bees are pretty clever. They'll get in, they'll clean it up and they'll start again. I'll pop this into our extractor and then I'll get the next frame ready to go. So that's frame one, this is the second frame. This is a newer frame, so you can see same bees, same hive, but because it's a newer frame it's quite golden. It hasn't had any brood hatch out in it. You see beautiful white cappings and quite golden colour of the honey underneath. Very slippery. You know, there's obviously a whole language for beekeepers, and one of the terms we use is stickies, and when we're finished with these frames and all the honey's been extracted, the phrase sticky comes to mind. That's one of these frames. There we go, just get those last little bits. So that's half done. Turn it around. It's a bit of weight. I think it was probably maybe 2.5 kilos in these frames. A lot of honey going into the cappings bucket, so we'll save that. I've got a press and I'll show you how we can press that out in a minute. You see it's a little bit shallow, we're missing a bit with the knife. Smells good. So there's another trick when you're using an extractor that people sort of didn't tell me when I started. I had to learn the hard way. When the bees make their honeycombs, they actually angle the cells upwards at about 14 degrees. So if you spin your extractor the wrong way, instead of using centrifugal force to extract, you're actually pushing the honey into the frames. So the leading edge is the bottom of the frame. And here we go, let's see what happens. And as I slowly spin it, I want to keep it gentle to start with. The honey's spinning out onto the inside of the frame. You can see inside there. On the wall it gets quite a sort of glisten as the honey hits the wall of the extractor. It doesn't take very long, a few minutes each side. This is a very simple 4-frame extractor. Great thing is you could do half a box of honey with it, or like we've just done, 2 frames at a time. So that's halfway spun. It's very manual. I still have to turn the frames by hand. The bigger commercial extractors will run, up to 36 frames at a time. They're pretty big. There we go, and then back the other way. You can really hear it hitting the side, all the honey flying out. So from 2 frames, I'm guessing we'll get maybe 5 or 6 kilos of honey. So nice generous amount for a family. That'll last you quite a while. In fact, there's some statistics. The global average of honey production from one hive is 20 kilos. I think Australia punches above its weights. We probably get 30 kilos, maybe 35 from one hive. We've got the benefit of those beautiful eucalypts and backyard beekeeping. So beekeeping in the suburbs benefits from all of the variety of flora out there. So those frames, pretty empty, nice and light. There's a little bit of some pollen in that frame, and if we put that back in the hive, the bees are going to love that. They're going to really enjoy cleaning it up and starting from scratch. So out of the extractor, we open it up and put it through the settling tank, and you'll see it's beautiful honey. There's a bit of wax in it from the uncapping, and we'll catch that in the mesh. Because it's a settling tank, it's going to settle, most of the wax will float to the top, and we'll end up with nice clear honey we can jar off. So it's raw, it hasn't been heat treated, and it's minimally filtered, so get all the goodness and all the variety of local pollen. The next step is we've got some cappings, and we can run the cappings through the cappings press, so that'll be good.